Every small business knows the feeling. Juggling bills, payroll, and suppliers, trying to keep the lights on. But what happens when the cash flow runs out and the funds meant for payroll deductions are quietly used to keep the business afloat? Hi, I'm Amandeep Singh from Cloud River CPS in Burnaby, and today's story, Ferri versus the King, a 2024 Tax Court of Canada case, shows how years of poor cash flow planning and weak bookkeeping controls can eventually land a director in serious tax trouble. The company at the heart of the case was North American Tool and Die, a long-standing manufacturing business in Ontario. Over several years, the company deducted income tax, CPP, and EI from employee paychecks, but failed to send that money to CRA. Those funds, legally speaking, never belonged to the company. They were held in a trust for the government on behalf of employees. When CRA later discovered that the remittances from 2007 to 2014 were missing, they assessed the director, Andrew Ferri, personally under Section 227.1 of the Income Tax Act. Mr. Ferri argued that he had stepped away from business years earlier, but the deeper issue was not just whether he was still a director, it was how the company's internal controls collapsed and why no one made sure payroll deductions were remitted. Through testimony, the court learned that the company had struggled financially for years, unfortunately. Payroll deductions were being used to cover daily operating costs like rent, suppliers, even wages, instead of being sent to CRA. And this is a common trap. When cash gets tight, business owners think sometimes, oh, we'll pay CRA next month when things improve. But as the court noted, that's like borrowing from Canadian taxpayers without permission. The office manager, Karen Chambers, described how she ran day-to-day operations and kept things moving. She admitted the company often fell behind on remittances and had to negotiate payment schedules with CRA. There was no proper system to track due dates or confirm payments. Bookkeeping was reactive, focused on surviving each week rather than staying compliant. The judge pointed out that there were no signs of strong financial oversight in this company. There were no monthly financial reports, no board meetings reviewing cash flow, and no evidence of a structured plan to keep up with payroll obligations. In fact, the court found that no one at the top, including Mr. Ferri, had taken strong steps to ensure the CRA was paid on time. What really struck was that the company kept operating despite those ongoing issues. Year after year, deductions were withheld but not remitted, and no internal alarm systems caught it. It's a familiar story when businesses delay their bookkeeping, ignore reconciliations, or lack a clear payroll calendar. Small problems quietly grow into massive tax debts. In the end, the court decided that Mr. Ferri remained responsible for the company's unremitted payroll deductions. Whether or not he had tried to resign years earlier did not matter much, because the evidence showed he was still involved in financial decisions and had not ensured remittances were made. The appeal was dismissed. Now, let's pause, take a step back, and think about what really caused this outcome. It was not just paperwork, it was the lack of cash flow planning, late bookkeeping, and missing financial oversight. You see, when payroll deductions are not isolated and tracked, businesses can lose sight of what's owed to CRA until it's too late. At Cloud River CPS, we've seen how this happens to good businesses under financial pressure. Our approach is simple: build systems that prevent surprises, we help business owners set up payroll remittance calendars, automatic reconciliation, and cash flow dashboards that show what's due and when. We also guide them in reading monthly financial reports so they can spot risks early and act before CRA does. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye.